All right, welcome to the Naive Novice. Today I will be making an opal marble. Let's get started. Step one is going to be doing a lot of melting. So the idea here is I'm going to get a nice big gather of clear. I'm doing this in Boro. I believe that Boro is the only glass that is compatible with opals. I'm not actually 100% sure. Something else to note here is that these are actually synthetic opals. I have read online that if you try to use real opals, due to the water composition inside of the opals, they will actually burst and you won't get a good final product. This is my first attempt using opals at all. And to that end, I'm doing this kind of like I've done other inclusions. Like I made a planet marble, and this is how I did the planet marble. I heated up one nice big gather, about as hot as I could, and then I put the opal in, and now I'm trying to encase that opal as best as I can, trying not to get any air bubbles. I'm also trying really hard not to put direct flame actually on the opal itself. I don't know what the temperature range that an opal can stand. At least when I was doing the planet marbles, the idea was I didn't want to deform it because it was also made out of glass. Now that the opal is encased and I've got it kind of in a bit of a cone shape, I'm going to use little stringers that I've pulled, and I'm just going to lay them as straight as I can. This will become the vortex. I'm also trying to keep these colors equally distant from each other. That way I can go back with a second color and it's very even proportions. But I really want to also make sure that these colors don't end up touching each other. That's kind of the magic of a vortex marble, is that there's these distinct spirals that will end up happening. Right now, I'm gonna pull out the point of it to make sure that it has all of the colors kind of end at the exact same spot. And now I'm melting it in just a little bit, but I'm going back with the tool and trying to make sure that those lines stay very distinct. The next step is to encase my little stringer lines in a clear color, which I almost forgot to do. I picked up the backing color and went, I forgot a step. Let's try this again. Encasing the stringer lines is important so that I can apply better heat directly to the bottom of the marble, because I'm going to have to heat it really, really hot to be able to put the swirls all the way through, and you'll see that in just a minute. But if I were to do that right now, the colors, those lines would actually melt in, and what I mean by that is they would spread outwards and all become on kind of the same level. The colors would have a really hard time staying separated, and colors are also much more prone to bubbling when the heat is applied directly to them, depending on what color you're working with. And I'll be honest, I don't really know the Boro that I'm working with in this particular case. I'm still playing around with everything. I just know that is a thing, and as a general rule, I find it easier to encase everything. I find encasing, especially this right here for the vortex, to be particularly hard not to trap bubbles. The thing that I think is the easiest to do is to just try to heat it up really hot, and by it I mean the clear, so that it flows really easily into place. And I try to work from one side, from the bottom upwards, so that the air has a way to move out. The next step here is to heat up everything about as hot as I can without it becoming too drippy. I'm spinning the thing around a lot. The idea here is to take my tweezers, grab the bottom of it, and do a little bit of a twist motion. In that twist motion, that's how the vortex gets formed out of all of those lines. You'll get a really, really nice spiral, and you want that to be really consistent. So to keep that consistency, you want to have it really nice and hot so that there's no resistance or cold parts anywhere where it doesn't want to play nice. Now we are on to the backing. So for this particular backing color, this is one that I like actually a lot. I've done a few different pieces with this. It is, I think it's called Silver Beach. I will probably check. If it is wrong, it'll be correct in the description. It's one of the only ones I know the name of. Hey, this one, it changes from that ambery color, dark amber, but still an ambery color in my hand, to more of a purple color with a little bit of, I still don't know the technical term of this. If anyone knows, that they would let me know, that'd be awesome. But you heat this one up hot enough that there's a film layer on top of the glass that gets burnt off. And if you do that, you get a really nice, pretty purple color. And I make these marbles with it being a vortex, and the opal in the middle is all kind of spacey, kind of themed. And I think that the purple that it creates is this really deep blue purple. I think it looks very spaced, and I like that. All right, this is the beginning of the end. It is time to start shaping my marble. I have that big marble marver in the background. I think that's what it's called. It's made out of graphite. It's made out of graphite. I can speak, I promise. My strategy for this is heat up the marble, put it back into the marver, spin it around a whole bunch until I'm happy with it, and then I'm gonna, right now, puntying to the same color that I did the backing on. Like, even putting like a clear on top of any other color, it leaves little blemishes, and like even this can leave like a little bit of a blemish, but it hides it a lot better if it's the same color. Melting off my clear rod. I think I melted like way too much off. The mold that I was using may not even work anymore, but I'm like, I guess it's just going to be a bigger marble now. So I heat the whole thing up and move it to the next one and try to just keep shaping. Just keep shaping, just keep shaping. One thing you might notice is that I'm going back and forth between a couple of the different marver shapes. So like there's a smaller one in the front and like a slightly bigger one in the back. I use the bigger one in the back to try to get most of the glass into a very round shape, but the smaller one is actually used for getting that outside edge of that marble to be extremely round. All right, and now for more marble shaping, we're gonna take off the punty that I already did, and we're gonna put the clear one back on, and we're gonna shape the bottom of it again. This is just how you do it. You just go back and forth, and really I should start doing these at different angles. Because right now I'm doing a lot of top and bottom of the marble, but if you can punty like as close to that middle where the two colors meet, but keep it still on the clear side, and you do this again, like it will get closer and closer to being round. That's the goal. At this point, I'm using the very, very small one, and I'm moving it around very fast and at a bunch of different angles. I find that the smaller ones, although I'm not entirely sure why this works, I feel like it has something to do with all marble sizes having kind of like relatively the same, like I don't know if angle is quite the right word, but if you can stick it in there and you can move it all the way around, you can move it smoothly around, it will get a very nice round edge to the marble. It might be a good idea to clarify one thing. When I am using the smaller marble sizes, I am not trying to push that marble into that mold. It is really just the ring of that mold that is touching any part of the marble at any given time. And I'm trying to keep that pressure even all the way around. That helps kind of push everything into the shape that it needs to be. We are coming to the end of this. You can see it looks very much like a marble. Here I am going to take my grabbers. I love these tools. These are probably my favorite tools. I mostly make marbles and pendants. It can be like, how do you get the last bit off? Gotta have a tool like this. So I'm grabbing it with the grabbers. One thing I'm fighting with is trying to get these grabbers as centered, because it's a marble, right? So if I get too high, it's gonna kind of put a big cage around it, and that's bad because I need to actually still apply flame to that punty and get it off and to melt in that final little bit so that it gets a really smooth surface. If the grabber, if the metal's too close to the flame, it'll heat up the glass underneath it and you'll get like little tiny marks in the glass where the grabber was. Also, because I'm working with a sphere, if I put the grabbers too low on the marble and I add a little bit of pressure, the grabbers slip and oopsie days, we just pop. There goes your marble onto your bench or onto the floor. That's why I am wearing a welding apron while I do this. I have had that happen on more than one occasion. No bueno. And that's all she wrote. And here's the final result. I think these turned out fantastic. I love the fire opal. I like that like translucent background. If you want to see more of videos from me, leave a comment with ideas for things I should make out of glass. No promises though.